October 12th, 2017. A day I'm not going to forget. She grew up in Vietnam. Went to school there. Hid from the authorities when she went to learn Chinese, because that was banned. She'd ride her bike, drop her brothers and sisters off at their school before heading off to hers. Or they would all jump together on some guy's bike, the equivalent of a taxi. And then they would all hop off on that too. When she was done school, she would go to the market and buy food, go home, start making dinner. She would get mad when nobody would come eat, when she worked so hard to make it. That never changed. She would help her brothers and sisters with their homework. And then when they were done, she would start hers. She told me stories about how she would ride around on her bike, and there was this time when she got lost and she was scared, she didn't know what to do, and when she finally got home, her dad told her she just like poked a hole in the tire and deflated it, and then told the equivalent of a taxi, this guy riding on a bike with a chair in the back, the wheel, just tell him that, hey, the tire's deflated, can you drive me back to this place? When she finished high school, she immigrated to Canada with the rest of her family. She started picking up small jobs, doing paper routes, cleaning office buildings, doing what little she could to get enough money. She didn't pursue post-secondary because she said she didn't really understand it that well by the time she hit grade 12. And she was putting her time towards helping family, helping those that she loved. What's the difference? It didn't really matter to her. My mom was always afraid of dogs. I think it's from the paper routes. Bright and early, she got barked at, chased by dogs a couple times. When she met my dad, my dad told her to stop. That fear of dogs never really left her. When we walk around, there's a house with a chihuahua, and it would bark whenever we walked by. And she would always kind of scutter to the outside of the sidewalk and like quickly, briskly walk by, or like hold onto our arms when we got older. But she got better at it later on. Didn't seem to bother her that much until at least the dog started chasing or running towards her. When she met my dad, after she met my dad, got married a little bit after that, had my brother, and they had me. My mom was always very nifty with things. I guess you had to be. She grew up in Vietnam. She would make us hats, just straight from cloth. Sew them to have support on the front, so it curves over, and she would give us these little caps because she made them for my dad when he was working. And I guess me and my brother wanted one too, so she made them for us. I still have it. It's kind of cool. Keepsake. When my brother wanted to be Batman, she would go and she took a. She's so resourceful. She took a green towel, dark green towel, cut out the shape, sewed together the ears, and it was a cape, and then my brother would run around being Batman. She would do whatever she could to make us happy. She stopped working when she had me and my brother, stay-at-home mom. And she always made us lunch, walked us out to the bus, far later than you would assume. Really, she only stopped. She would make us lunch to bring to school, which sometimes meant having to wake up at like 4 a.m, get us ready for swimming practice and stuff. I don't know how she did it, but she did. Very early on, she said that her dream was to own a grocery store, because no matter how the economy's doing, people still have to eat. So she's still gonna make money. She never got to own a grocery store. I guess the next best thing, she became a cashier, started handling the money for grocery stores. Superstore, if that counts. She started working when me and my brothers went to, when I got to 2nd grade. And I still remember when she came back after that first day with this big book of all of these numbers with every single produce imaginable on it with their own specific digit code. And she was, I don't know how she remembered all that. And then when we would go to like Co-op or whatever to buy stuff, go to self-checkout, and she would just be like, yeah, just press the code. You don't even need to find through the menu of what it is. Just press the code and then it works. Because it was the same everywhere, and she memorized all of it. She was always really smart. She taught us math at a very young age. It got us to remember multiplication tables. She made us practice writing a lot. Oh, her writing was gorgeous. She'd make us practice. Chinese, English, whatever. Just keep on writing. And as a kid, I didn't mind it. It's fun. But now, whenever people tell me that I have good handwriting, or that I have nice handwriting, I always smile knowing that it was because of her. Not the things, but because of her. When we were kids, she would tell us stories about her time back in Vietnam. And I loved hearing those stories. And when she didn't want to say anything, I would always ask her the same phrase. I would always ask her how she brushed her teeth in Vietnam, again and again and again. I know the answer. It's with salt and pig hair toothbrushes. Because they didn't have toothpaste or plastic toothbrushes. But I would always ask her those stories. I'd always ask her because she would get talking, and then I would ask her something else and follow up, and she would get on to the story about her past. I loved hearing those stories. They're a part of me that I wish I had done more. I wish I had learned more about her before she passed. December 2015. This was when I was in grade 11. She went to the doctors. Came back with the notice that it was cancer. At the beginning, I wasn't sure what to think. She's so young, and the type of cancer that she got, wasn't, thought they caught it early. And there was always the logical side of my brain knowing that, cancer, it's your own body cells, blah, blah, blah. And just thinking about all the reasons why you shouldn't worry. And why, we can start chemo, we can start surgery, whatever. It'd be fine. And now looking back, life before then was perfect. My dad would say, jokingly, that, or not, I don't remember, that her arms, her biceps were larger than his. Just because she did so much lifting when she was a cashier. She was so fit. We loved going on walks just around the community at Nose Hill Park. And as me and my brother started getting older, we started, getting more into cross-country running. And so instead of walking that 6-7 kilometers up and down, that's a really big hill, up and down, we would start running it. And it got to the point that I just kind of stopped. Like, if it was going to be a workout, it would be running on our own. Because mom and dad couldn't keep up. And a couple summers, we would take my mom and we'd go. And every single time we went, we would tell her to keep going further and further. Keep on running, not walk, further and further. She would make it to the hill, and then she would walk up the hill, and then she would just keep running, and then she would just continue running and run down the hill. And every single time, she took less and less breaks walking, more and more time running. And I remember clearly that there were a couple times, so proud of her, when she would run the entire thing, 7 kilometers, uphill, downhill. It's amazing how fit she was. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of teenagers who couldn't do that. She was doing it when she was 40. No one thought that she would be the one to die first. No one thought that she would be the one to get ill first. She's the healthiest out of all of her siblings. She always ate healthy. She would cook at home because my brother and I didn't. No one ever thought that she would be the first to get so ill. She was always the healthiest out of her family. And That was it. Even after she had cancer, I would walk with her. After every surgery, we would slowly start building up stamina again. Start walking further and further and further. That December, when she was told that she had cancer, I remember clearly because that Christmas we were going to a family Christmas party. I remember clearly. That December, I remember it clearly because going to a Christmas party, and when she didn't know what to wear, she wore this red shirt, and I walked in to her room and asked her if she had a belt. So she went in and grabbed a belt and put it on, and I don't know, it looked nice to me. So it seemed like it was missing something. And then when we went to the party, all her brothers and sisters were there, and they were all complimenting her on how nice she looked. And every single time she would turn to me and said, "My son helped me pick that up." And so ibang mag-angry. And I would say that was the last time that I saw her happy, but it wasn't. I guess it was, I don't know. Felt proud knowing that. Knowing that I did something for her. That upcoming January was her first surgery. And I still remember the pre-surgery day, the day before the surgery, and I went with her to the hospital. They were doing ECGs and stuff, make sure that she was ready, give her the final rundown before the surgery. And I remember she had the biggest fear that, like, there's a chance that because of how they were doing the surgery, I'd take out a chunk of her colon. And because of its proximity to her rectum, there was a possibility that she would have to carry around a bag next to her on her abdomen for the rest of her life if they couldn't connect it back. And she was scared that that would change her way of life a lot. That didn't happen. But looking back, it's like I'd rather prefer that than this. If that could have changed anything. After first surgery, she recovered so fast. She was up and walking the same day that she had the surgery. And she got better so fast. And it was a big surgery too. So it's like, yeah, she's fit, yeah, she's healthy. She's strong. All her surgeries that she took, were right on the days of my exams, or like right like in that time period of exam break. It was always like either January or June, and I would joke with her saying that like, did you specifically choose this so then I could just like specifically choose this so then I could drive you to and from surgery, and so I could go and visit you more at the hospital. After the surgery, she started going to chemo. I remember driving her to chemo, sitting with her in that room, and watching the discomfort on her face. Pain as they stuck the needle in. It's hard to know that I couldn't do anything about it. So I would sit with her, I'd talk to her, sometimes just sleep there with her. It's like 3 hours, come on. I would bring my Chinese homework there, and when she was sitting there, I would do it, and I would, there were words I didn't know. I would ask her, and she would always be there to help me. Always. Sometimes, brought my phone there. Took the earbuds out, put one earbud in mine, put the other one in hers. We would listen to music. Whenever someone finishes chemo, they have this big bell in the chemotherapy rooms, and they would ring it, celebrating when someone had their last chemo session. They were done. They were free. Of course, I always hoped that she would get to hear that bell ring. So chemotherapy, they did a really good job letting her, I guess, keep her normal lifestyle. They would just be in the hospital for, a couple hours every 2 weeks. And so she'd still go home, and she'd be tired for 1 or 2 days, but towards the latter end of that 2 weeks, you couldn't tell that she was ill. You couldn't tell that she had cancer, because she'd be just as lively as before, doing all the things she used to do before. She'd cook and clean around the house. She had to stop working, obviously, but she never stopped helping us. And I would look forward to always coming home and seeing my mom there in the kitchen, or in her bed, or in the, whatever. Just always knowing that she was here when I came home. It's probably what I miss the most. Coming home and knowing that she's not here. So she'd do chemo, couple cycles of chemo. It's going well, and the cancer markers were dropping, like really, really good. And there were cancer marker in the blood. There was like an error of a normal healthy person would have 0 to 5. She started off at, I think it was like 200 something, and then slowly as they started doing chemo, it went down to like 5. And we would hold it there. She was young. Doctor thought, she's young, she's healthy, she's fit, she's strong. Let's go for it. Let's go for another surgery. Let's take everything else out. Had I known if I could go back, I'd probably just tell her just to keep on doing chemo. I'm okay with this. I'll drive her every other week. It'll be fine. Be fine. So, a year later, and so this comes back to around January, and start CT scanning, and they notice liver has some, ovary has some. Let's get it out. Major surgery. And again, she would recover so quick. It's unbelievable watching her. Day after day, seeing her getting stronger and stronger after the surgeries. And after every surgery, we'd go on those walks again. Sit down at school. I'd stay with her at home until she felt good enough to go. She would walk further and further. But she was still on chemo. It was tough for her, obviously. It doesn't feel good. And in those first couple of days after every round of chemo, she would always be very tired. And when I had swimming practice to wake up at 5 in the morning, she'll wake up at 4:30. Like 2 days after doing chemo. I don't know how she did it. I told her that, if it's too hard, I can move it a day back. I can go Tuesday, Thursday instead of Monday, Wednesday. She was like, no, it's fine. It's fine. I told her that, I could find someone else to drive me. And she's like, no, it's fine. She would always be there for us. No matter how hard it was, she was always there for us. And after they did the surgery, jumped back right on chemo, and it didn't seem right. Cancer marker wasn't dropping, as well as, it was dropping slower than the first time, and she started feeling pain. It started growing and growing. It started being more and more painful. But she hit it well. My graduation came up, and she said, I remember that was the day she was supposed to do chemo. And a couple weeks before, she told the doctor, hey, my son's graduating today, or on that day. Can we postpone this chemo session? The doctor said, yes. It's just one chemo session. It's not really that big of a deal. So she stops doing chemo for that little bit. And she is, by the time my graduation came around, it was really like those times that you can't tell that she had cancer. It's just a reminder, looking back, that wow, she was incredible. When I was working on the grad video, late at night, my dad would always come down and tell me, you should probably just not do this. Why are you working so hard? You don't really get anything in return. Why are you doing all this? And my mom would always support me. She'd cut fruits and bring them down to me while I worked. She was always there for me. the summers, she would always tell us, hey, why don't you join some club or something? Why don't you go do, I don't know, basketball or something, go swimming or something, like join a club so then you have something to do. And she was, part of it might have been just to get us out of the house, but a lot of it, she was like, yeah, I'll pay for it, don't worry about it. She wanted us to do what we loved. And she was saying that ever till the last thing that she said. We would watch dramas on TV, Hong Kong dramas late at night. And she'd turn on the TV after we ate dinner, and we would we'd be there working on our homework, on the iPad or laptop, whatever, just sitting there on the couch while she watched. And I guess part of it was like, we were like, oh yeah, we could watch or not, whatever, but I miss those times. And sitting there with her, looking over every so often and laughing, or seeing her cry because something dramatic happens. Those were fun times. After graduation, she started feeling pain and stuff more, and she went to the doctors, started talking about it, CT scan, and then she would, they noticed it was her other ovary. We thought they took it out the first time. Apparently they didn't, but they didn't take out both of them. And then now her ovary was expanding. It was getting larger and larger because of the cancer that was inside. It was building up fluid on the inside. And so because she didn't do chemo for the past couple of weeks because of my graduation, she could do surgery like right away. At the end of the month, boom, she's doing surgery, get it out. And I remember going with her to the pre-surgery day before. It's just like the first time I went. She still had that hope in her eyes. And it's interesting seeing her go back. She was steady. She had done this before. And I don't know. Did surgery. They took it out. When I got home that day, my dad told me. That day was the last test that I had, grade 12, last diploma. It's done. And when I got home, my dad drove me to the hospital because the doctor wanted to see us. It was a standard procedure. That's all that, what happens during the surgery. And when we went there, it's like the plan was that they would take it out. And whatever residual cancer there was in her intraperitoneal cavity, they would put heated chemo in and try to kill everything on the surface. And we went there, the surgeon told us that wasn't possible, but he didn't do the heated chemo. He took the ovary out. That was the large pain that was obstructing her. That was great. But then they couldn't do the chemotherapy because it was too deep. The cancer went in too deep. And I'll never forget what he said. He said, we can't do another surgery. This is the last. The cancer grew to the point that if they were to do surgery again, and every time they do surgery, they have to wait a certain period of time before they can start chemo again, the cancer will go, will ravage her. And you just can't do chemo, you can't do another surgery. Can't open her back up again. And for me, hearing that, it was like, okay, this is fine, we'll go do chemo. We got everything dangerous out there, there's nothing, really in dire danger, and there's nothing really critical. Maybe this can work. And it did for a bit. I thought, okay, let's go move on, let's go do chemo. It did a great job holding cancer off before, maybe it came back to that point. And I don't know. It's kind of like when you get to that point, I was like, okay, fine, let's go do chemo. Let's get back on chemo as soon as possible. The surgeon said there wasn't anything, vital that would in dire danger. Maybe we could, it's just in the cavity. Maybe we get on chemo, stop from going any further, everything will be okay. So she's back in the hospital, and she's recovering every single time, slower than the previous. She's getting weaker and weaker. Before this, she cut her hair because it's kind of thinning from the chemo. Still wasn't too bad, but she cut it off this time. And when she started recovering again, everything was perfect again. We'd go start walking again, further and further, every time. And she's getting healthier and healthier, stronger and stronger. And then she, I remember when we, graduation, the after my graduation, I was graduating from my Chinese school, and me and a friend of mine who was in the class, thought that we should get a present for the teacher. So, and she was like, oh, we should go buy flowers. So we went to the superstore by the school, and my mom drove us, and she said, you know what, the flowers die, why don't you buy her orchids? My mom loved growing orchids. She loved growing anything. She would take care of the plants and water them. She'd take pictures of them. And people always say that like orchids, they're difficult to grow. And I don't know why, I don't know how, but they were always blooming for my mom. So she convinced us to buy orchids. And when the graduation was over, we were going to give it to the teacher, and I told her, okay, after the graduation, just bring it in from the car, and then I'll give it to her. And she comes scrambling in, like after everything, like almost everything's done. She comes scrambling in with the plant, and we handed it to the teacher. And when I asked her what happened, she was like, "Oh, I put it in your dad's car." And so when she ran out to her car to get it, it wasn't there. And so she was scrambling around trying to find my dad to get it. Even whenever there was a time that we needed help, she would always be there, doing whatever she could to help. Now that she's gone, it's onto us. Me and my dad take care of plants around the house, all your kids. But she would always give her all for others. In August, this was the first time in a long while. She's back to health. She's not starting chemo yet. We're gonna start that maybe at the start of September. She says, maybe we should go on a trip. We haven't gone out of Calgary for some time, really since she was diagnosed with cancer. And this was a time she didn't have to do chemo for like 1 or 2 more weeks. Let's go to Kelowna. Let's go pick some fruits. Because we did that a long time ago, many years ago. Maybe we go do it again. And my brother didn't want to go because forest fires. And he also was taking summer classes. So then my brother said, maybe let's go to Okotoks. I always wanted to visit the Big Rock. And that was the last time that we just had fun. We were, we didn't really want to climb the Big Rock. So we just kind of stood around it, played around on the smaller rocks, had some fun, took some pictures. Throughout this entire thing, after my mom's diagnosis, I started taking pictures of her, let her know. Just normal everyday pictures. So it's normal everyday things that she was doing. And the idea behind it at the beginning was, I'll take these. At some point, maybe I can look back on them. And hopefully one day I can show it to her and be like, hey, I took these photos because you said you were diagnosed with cancer. And I want to record these memories. And I wanted to show them back to her when she was free of cancer. And then we could laugh about it. After every time I took one of those photos, I would completely forget that I did. Because she was so normal. Everything that she did was just the way that she did before. And she worked so hard to make sure that my life, my dad's life, and my brother's life didn't change because of her. And I never really remembered that I was doing that until I was looking back through my photos for some reason or not. And I see these photos and I'm like, hey, yeah, right, I was doing that. So every so often I take these photos. And kind of memories that you want to keep. Just the calm before the storm. And when I went to Okotoks, that was really the last time, I guess that was the case. Everything was happy, everything was perfect. And then she started having constipation. She started having stomach pains. I still remember the day. It was bright and early. I told my friend I was gonna go film with him, and he canceled because it was like smoky outside or something. We did that quite often, but I remember my mom woke me up like earlier than I would have normally woken up, and I would, and she was like, okay, your aunt's coming. She's gonna drive me to the doctors. And then I said, you know what, I can drive you to the doctors. So then when my aunt came, drove off to the doctors. She said that it hurt right here in her lower abdomen. And she's been constipated. She couldn't go for a couple of days at that point. And it was just starting to hurt. And then after that, he said, we went to, the family doctor told us to go to the hospital. So I drove her to the hospital. We sat in emergency for, it was like 6 hours. We're sitting there, just waiting for like the doctor to come and such. And it always came up, you have a blockage. We have to get it out. And they were checking in, like, all right, we can't do surgery. So she would be stuck there in pain, and they would just keep on giving her more pain medication. And her sitting there. My phone battery was about to die. And I was just surfing the web. Because I was like, this is nothing. This is nothing to be afraid of. Don't worry about it. It got to the point that I just drove home alone. It was the first time I drove for any significant distance alone. Because I didn't know how long I was going to have to wait there for her. For her to get checked in. And my aunt was there, so. And then on the drive home, it really started kicking in that, this might be the normal. I might no longer have her by my side when I drive. And the next day, I heard from my dad. My dad went straight there after this finished work. She got a room. Came back like at night or something. She got a room. And she was sitting there with, I think the next day she had a tube up her nose. Take the stuff out of her stomach. And it was, I think the philosophy was, we're not going to feed you any more food because it's just going to make you more congested up in there. And this is going to be more pain for you. And so it was just like, we're just going to wait here until you can go on your own. That sucked. Knowing that the only thing they could do was wait. It was frustrating for my mom too. She was getting anxious. Just sitting there doing nothing. And it slowly started getting better. She started being able to pass gas. She could go. And we brought her home and we thought everything would be back to normal. Somewhere in that time, she developed anxiety and depression. And like 2 days after, she was back in the hospital. And it's frustrating seeing her like that. Knowing that she couldn't accept what she had to do, which at that point was just wait or eat. And the mom that I knew kind of changed. And I don't know. It's difficult to see that. I started going back to school, and doctor called everybody in and told everyone basically that there's nothing they can do. There's no hope left. The chemo that they were going to start, they kind of started pushing back, postponing every so often. Never got to start it again. She was too weak, and so she started deteriorating, not eating, and getting worse and worse. When the doctor said that there was nothing that they could do, I didn't know what to think. Started putting on the camera there more often, just to record what little bit we could. She got sent to hospice to live out the rest of her life, and we visited her. In that time, I think I grew more than I grew so much in that 2 or 3 months. When she was in the hospice, every single day when we go see her, she got worse and worse. And it was terrible to see that there's nothing you could do to help her. And that was kind of waiting on her to pass. And that was terrible. By the end of it, I did everything I could to try to keep her memory. At a Chinese school, we'd sing songs. She would, I wouldn't know the words. I'd ask her and tell her, hey, what word is this? And then she would tell me, and we'd go through working on Chinese like that. And I wanted to do it one last time. On October 12th, 2017, in the morning, she passed away. And it's a good chapter in my life. You know, when I ask myself why I like making videos, why I like filmmaking, and the answer always came back to because I feel like there's something so beautifully human about telling stories. And I didn't know what to do to help her, and this was the most important story in my life. I felt like I had to do something to remember her, because I've been thinking about doing this for a couple months. But after her passing, it felt like I could do this whenever, because I'm not gonna forget her. These memories, I'm not gonna forget. This isn't because I'm not recording it because I want something to look back on after. It's because I want to share the story. Because I want to share this tragedy of my mom. Um, so many things that I guess when we were kids we imagined where it would be every 5-10 years down the road, and now so much of that is gone. She never got to see me bring home a girlfriend. She never got to the mother-son dance, a wedding. She never got to hold a grandchild in her arms, and it raised them the way she raised me. She was a great mom, selfless person, absolutely beautiful, and tell your parents you love them, because you can never quite be sure when you'll no longer have the chance. Tell your friends, tell some stranger that you're glad they're okay. At the end of the eulogy, I came up with this because I thought it'd be the best way to finish this. But my brother kind of independently also came up with this. I was watching a show, and in it there was this philosophy that someone said when they were about to die. That yes, when we die, we all die alone. But if you've helped someone, if you've loved someone loved you, changed something for someone, maybe you'll never die at all, because you'll always be in their memories. So, I'm no si, I'm no fun. Family will know. Mama. Huwag hindi wa kay Chilega. There are probably a million other things that I missed, because her life was beautiful.